I've really struggled this week to put into words what I am thinking and feeling. This week was going normal for me. Innocent people around the world were dying in conflicts that they didn't start and were helpless to stop. Millions more have been forced from their homes by starvation and war, forced onto roads, trains, and boats with newborns, toddlers, elderly parents, and while pregnant. Climate change and its impacts are being felt in real time as catastrophic storms continue to rage in places that are already experiencing intense social, economic, and physical turmoil. But I had driven in my Buffalo Sewer Authority marked vehicle to and from Stamford, Connecticut, leaving Tuesday at mid-morning and returning late Wednesday night. In Stamford, I made several new contacts with engineering firms who had written Buffalo off as being too far away and talked about how they might be able to support our needs in the years to come. I learned what is being done along the Atlantic coast throughout New England and south of New Jersey to adapt to rising sea level, more intense inland storms, and higher storm surge events. And I talked with different experts in the field about how these methods might be adapted to our inland coast in Buffalo and our challenges with Lake Erie. Thursday morning, I was back in Buffalo, in my office at 7 a.m. I had deadlines to meet with regulators, a stack of vendors and contractors to get paid, and dozens of emails, voicemails, Teams messages, and physical mail to sort through and address. I also had several meetings to attend, several virtual, a few in person at City Hall, and one in person at the facility on Bird Island. I had been asked to present on what I do and how I got to where I am to a group of para employees, a cohort of young men and women who do not yet have the qualifications to work full-time for Buffalo Sewer, but who have spent the summer working on our green infrastructure projects throughout the city. Some of them had seen me in passing, and I met regularly with their supervisors from Buffalo Sewer. After all, overseeing the installation of green infrastructure and making sure lessons learned from earlier projects are being incorporated into later projects is part of my job, as I lead our efforts to create a resilient sewer system that will ensure our climate refuge future. But I had never spoken with them directly before. So at 10:30 a.m. on Thursday, I finally had my chance, and I was able to talk a little about myself and learn a little about what they had learned during their time with us and how they were progressing towards being eligible for permanent employment with us. We ran a little over, and at 11:05, I had to run out to my assigned vehicle and get on a virtual meeting. Usually, if I need to get from one place to another during a virtual meeting, I will drive while doing so. But Thursday morning, I wanted to make sure I could look at some documents while we talked, so I stayed in the parking lot. It's not until 11:20 or 11:25 that I was able to get moving again and hop on the 190 at Porter Avenue to run the little stretch between there and Niagara Street, the shortcut that so many of us take when traveling between the island and City Hall. A few minutes earlier, I had seen a flurry of activity involving the head of sewer maintenance, a position I relinquished 5 years ago, and the chief operating officer. When I got to the 190, there was some sort of traffic slowdown, and I was the last vehicle waved through by state police as they shut down traffic completely. I saw my colleagues standing by the side of the road with police, fire, and ambulances everywhere, but I did not stop. I had not been asked to, and I did not want to get in the way. And at that point, all I could think was that one of our manhole covers had come dislodged, and someone had driven into an open hole at 80 miles per hour. My role would be back in the office with the records and the maps. When I walked in the door to our City Hall office, though, it was clear that something else had happened. One of our trucks, one used by our green infrastructure stewardship team, folks who had been through the same training as the group I had just left and had successfully transitioned to full-time employment with us, had been shot at. Rumors were running wild, and as a manager, it was my role to make sure my own reports were safe and not adding to the chaos, and then to make sure that those closest to me knew that I was safe. But then despair set in. There are 3 groups of public employees that the public encounters each and every day: police, fire, and public works. We in Buffalo are separate from the city of Buffalo's Department of Public Works, but all of us, whether parks, streets, sanitation, plows, water, and sewer, we are considered the safe one of the three. Police and fire have special retirement plans that allow them to retire 10 years earlier because they are expected to have faced greater dangers. When the rest of us run from danger, they are supposed to run towards it. We, as public works employees, face industrial and construction hazards and distracted drivers, but we don't run into burning buildings or confront armed suspects. But suddenly, on the heels of 3 years of pain from the pandemic, from an industrial accident that took the life of one of our contractors working on site, from the deaths of 5 employees due to various illnesses, from the shared losses of May 14th and the Christmas blizzard, and so much more, we found ourselves facing the reality that we are not safe from violence at work. I am in pain. My colleagues are in pain. One of our number was murdered. 2 more are facing long roads to recovery from their physical injuries. Dozens more are suffering trauma from what they have experienced and witnessed on Thursday. And in the midst of this, we have today's gospel. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and you shall love your neighbor as yourself. And the collect of the day: increase in us the gifts of faith, hope, and charity. Now, that the collect says charity, but the word in Latin is caritas, selfless love, not charity. I do not know why someone decided Thursday morning to take the life of Keyshawn Galt at the age of 22, or to destroy the lives of 30-year-old Myron Walker and 23-year-old Lamar Whitfield, and I doubt we will ever truly know why. But I know that my response needs to be love. And I need to live into my faith, to keep hope alive and accept all in love. Now, to be clear, demanding justice is part of love, and seeking to restore that which has been broken is as well. And we are all broken, each in our own ways that we do not share or show to most others we meet. But we all need love. And through love, faith and hope can grow. And that is the message that Christ came into our lives to share. So be Christian, be revolutionary, be transformational, love one another. Love one another when it is easy, love one another when it is hard, love one another when it seems impossible. Love. Amen.